But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities, the chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. The crucifixion of Jesus Christ has profound significance in Christianity and holds several theological, spiritual, and historical implications. According to Christian belief, Jesus' crucifixion served as a sacrificial offering to atone for the sins of humanity. His death is seen as the ultimate act of love and redemption, reconciling humanity with God. The crucifixion is followed by the resurrection, which Christians celebrate as Jesus overcoming death and offering hope of resurrection to believers. Jesus' willingness to undergo crucifixion despite his innocence is considered an example of selfless love and obedience to God, serving as a model for Christians to follow. The crucifixion of Jesus Christ is viewed as a main event in human history, shaping the beliefs, practices, and identity of Christians worldwide. It is seen as the ultimate expression of God's love for humanity and the means through which believers can experience forgiveness and reconciliation with God. In this video we will consider his physical suffering involving nails driven through the hands and feet, causing excruciating pain. The weight of the body hanging from the nails would have strained the muscles and made breathing difficult. Jesus endured intense emotional and mental suffering during his crucifixion. He was mocked and ridiculed by the crowds and soldiers. The betrayal by Judas and the denial by Peter added to his emotional pain. In ancient Roman times, crucifixion was a form of punishment reserved for slaves, rebels, and criminals convicted of serious offenses. It was a brutal and public form of execution intended to serve several purposes. The public nature of the execution and the prolonged suffering inflicted on the victim served as a warning to onlookers. Crucifixion was considered one of the most severe forms of punishment, reserved for the worst offenders. It was used for crimes such as rebellion against the state, treason, murder, and robbery. Crucifixion was designed to inflict maximum humiliation and shame on the victim. The condemned person was typically stripped naked, which was a further degradation in Roman society, and then nailed or tied to a wooden cross, where they would hang publicly until they died. Overall, crucifixion in ancient Roman times was a form of punishment designed not only to inflict physical pain and suffering but also to serve as a powerful deterrent and a means of asserting and maintaining Roman authority. It was a brutal and effective tool of social control in the Roman Empire. The greatest pain of Jesus Christ on the cross is a deeply profound and theological topic that has been contemplated and discussed by theologians, scholars, and believers for centuries. Here are some key aspects to consider. Physical suffering. Crucifixion was an agonizing form of execution involving nails driven through the hands and feet, causing excruciating pain. Other physical suffering of Jesus Christ includes the scourging, then they spit in his face and struck him with their fists. Others slapped him. Matt 26:67, carrying the cross, carrying his own cross, he went out to the place of the skull, which in Aramaic is called Golgotha. John 19:17, fist. The men who were guarding Jesus began mocking and beating him. Luke 22:63, vinegar drinking. Immediately one of them ran and got a sponge. He filled it with wine vinegar, put it on a staff, and offered it to Jesus to drink. Matt 27:48, and crown of thorns, Mark 15:18. Emotional and mental anguish. Jesus endured intense emotional and mental suffering during his crucifixion. He was mocked and ridiculed by the crowds and soldiers. The betrayal by Judas and the denial by Peter added to his emotional pain. Spiritual agony. According to Christian belief, Jesus not only bore physical pain but also carried the weight of humanity's sins upon himself. This spiritual burden was immense and caused him to cry out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Voluntary sacrifice. Jesus willingly chose to undergo this suffering for the redemption of humanity. His love and obedience to God's will led him to endure the cross. Salvation and atonement. The suffering of Jesus on the cross is believed to have profound theological significance. It is seen as the ultimate sacrifice that reconciles humanity with God, providing a way for forgiveness of sins and eternal life. Symbolism of the cross. The cross itself has become a symbol of hope, redemption, and love in Christianity. It represents Jesus' victory over sin and death, and his ultimate act of selfless love for humanity. Generally, the greatest pain of Jesus Christ on the cross invites believers to contemplate the depths of God's love and the profound sacrifice made for the sake of humanity. It serves as a cornerstone of Christian faith and a reminder of the power of redemption and forgiveness. What do you think on the enormity of Jesus' sacrifice? What are your personal implications of his suffering and what it means for your faith?